Today on Andy's Autosport TV, we're going to show you how to tighten up the handling of your ride with strut tower braces. So your vehicle is designed to flex and twist, and over time it makes the structural integrity of the vehicle weaker, especially if the vehicle is used in any kind of spirited driving at all. We've actually seen vehicles come apart at the seams and literally tear body panels when they're not properly reinforced, which is why when you see track vehicles, they have a ton of reinforcement throughout the entire vehicle. Another side effect is sloppy handling. So if you've ever gone into a corner really hard and you felt a delay, chassis flex is probably the culprit. If you take two identical vehicles and you equip one with a strut bar and put them through the same driving conditions over a period of time, you'll notice the vehicle that had the strut bar is going to drive more like new. This is because the chassis doesn't go through the same flex and stresses as the vehicle without the strut bar. A strut tower brace, sometimes called just a strut bar or strut brace, is just basically a piece of metal or carbon fiber that ties the top of the strut towers together, essentially just stiffening the chassis. Now, some vehicles have struts in the front and rear. To get the most out of your vehicle, you should really purchase one for both ends. There are many types of chassis stiffeners available depending on your application. There are lower control arm stiffeners, C-pillar braces, and subframe connectors. And if you do a lot of track time, a combination of these devices is really a good idea and will really make a big difference. Today, we're going to focus on strut tower braces because they give you the most bang for your buck. Choosing the right strut tower bar can make a world of difference. While Andy's does offer an economical line of strut tower braces, you want to look at the product photos to make sure you get the most for your money. And if you're only installing one at a time, make sure you buy the front one first. That's where you're going to see the biggest difference. Take a look at these DC Sport CS2 series strut tower bars. Now you can see you've got two carbon steel tubes here, reinforced with this webbing up here, and then of course you look at the brackets that actually mount to the strut towers, all boxed in. Really, they do a great job on those. When you compare it to this less expensive bar, and you look at the amount of flex that is in this, just with me putting my weight on it over the table, you can tell that DC Sport bar is definitely going to do a little better job for you when you're talking about stiffening up your chassis. Of course, anything is better than nothing, and depending on what you're planning on doing with your vehicle, we have plenty available for you. We do offer the Cuzco brand. This is a great quality, has the reinforced brackets. That does a great job. That'll give you the looks and the performance that you're looking for. And also, we offer the Greddy brand as well. So check out the link below and see what we have available for your vehicle. Another option is a triangulated style front strut brace. Now what this does is it ties the strut towers together to the firewall as well, keeping everything in place under hard cornering, hard acceleration, and hard braking as well. If you truly want your vehicle to handle like it's on rails, then a triangulated front strut brace is what you should look for. Check out the photos at andysautosport.com and see what we have available for your application. Installing strut tower bars on vehicles is pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do is we're going to install our new DC Sport CS2 style strut bars on our Project Integra and show you exactly how easy it is. So we're going to be installing our front strut tower brace first. Now we've removed the hood from our Project Integra just to make it easier for you guys to see. It's not necessary in the installation. One of the things that I want to point out is if you look at the struts on this particular car, they're actually tilted in a little bit. So what we're going to have to do is we're actually going to have to lower one of these struts out from the strut tower in order to get our strut bar to bolt in correctly. So we're going to start that process now. Okay, so what we've done through the magic of Andy's Autosport TV, we raised the car up on the lift, we jacked the front end up just high enough to where we could get our strut bolts to come down to the bottom of our strut tower like we have here, and now we're going to go ahead and put our strut brace on. And that'll allow us to get that fitting around the bolts. Now you can do this with a floor jack, which is probably what you're going to be using at home, and this will allow you to do the same thing. You'll probably only need to lower one side. Once you get one side on, you'll just want to make sure that you don't have a bunch of dynamic tension against the bolts as you're lowering the other side. So now I'm going to lower the car back down so that I can get the strut nuts back on the struts. Okay, so that's basically how we install the front strut tower brace. Now the back strut tower brace is going to be so much easier because the bolts actually come straight up through the strut towers, so we're not going to have to lower down the struts or anything in order to get that on there. So we're going to move to the back now and do the installation on the back strut tower brace. Okay, now we're going to install our rear strut bar. Now we need to take our covers off to expose the tops of the struts. Now, unlike the front, the rear goes in straight up and down, so we're not going to have to raise or lower the suspension at all in order to be able to get these loose and to get the strut tower brace on there correctly. Just going to loosen these up using our Performance Tools 14mm socket and ratchet. Okay, sometimes when you take these covers off, there'll be a little, like on this side over here, it's relatively large, so there might be a little brace up here. You just snip that off with a pair of side cutters. There's also a cable in here that goes to our trunk release. Just pull that out of your way. Set your strut tower brace right over the top. Reinstall the nuts on top of the struts. Pretty straightforward install on the rear. Tighten them up all the way around. And I like to go everything twice. So that's the basic installation of the rear strut bar. Very simple. Took about 10 minutes using our ordinary hand tools that you can buy at andysautosport.com. So that's a basic install of strut bars. Now the entire process took about 25 minutes to install the front and rear. We used ordinary hand tools, the same tools you can buy at andysautosport.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on another episode of Andy's Autosport TV.